Just a quick fun fact for you during hurricane season here. Did you know that since 1851, of the 292 hurricanes that have hit the United States, 120 of them have made some sort of landfall in the state of Florida. I mean, I knew Florida stuck out like a sore thumb, but whoa. All right, here we go. Pretty interesting stuff there, huh? All right, my friends, welcome back. It is August 18th, 2021, 10:15 a.m., and we got our trio of storms all close to the United States. Fred, Grace, and Henry still all very much alive as of the posting of this video. And let's not forget, we got Category 3 Linda out in the Pacific, probably won't have any effect on the United States, and hopefully not Hawaii. And specifically in this video, I want to go over the dance that's going on between these three storms, and yes, that includes Fred, which is well into the United States right now. We are going to talk about the path of Grace, and now Henry taking over headlines as it makes an approach towards the upper northeastern part of the United States. It's been a while since we've seen something like that happen, and I will get into that in just a second. Just want to touch base on the earthquake situation going on today already, just in the last 24 hours. Check this out. Vanuatu near Indonesia, Fiji, this area right here, the northeast of Australia, a very big prone earthquake area. Very big, deep earthquakes happen here, but check this out. A 7.2 downgraded to a 6.9 took place just about an hour and a half ago. And then take a look at some of these quakes that took place before that, leading up to it. 6.1, 5.8, and then some more high-grade 5s going down the list, and the day just started. All right, and we're going to go over a quick little tiny bit of history, and that's because we have a situation developing where we may see an East Coast landfall with Hurricane Henry. Yes, we are not at hurricane status yet, but every major model has this thing at least becoming a Category 1 as it makes a southwestern swing towards the United States before hooking up towards the northeast. Here is a quick view on that track, hopefully staying within this cone of uncertainty, which would at most clip parts of Massachusetts. This could get pushed into the United States a little more. I'm going to explain all that and the dance we just talked about with all three of these storms. But as we just said, that southwestern movement is going to be when this storm is projected to become hurricane strength, kind of wrapping around Bermuda. We talked about this a bit the day before yesterday, and based off this new data, there are a lot of people that want answers right now. We're going to do our best to try to analyze the data we have. Things change, they always do, but at least we're within a 4-day period right now, and Henry is projected to get closer to the northeast of the United States than we've actually seen in a very long time, and it's interesting how it's going to happen. All right, so we're going to do a little talking and visualizing here. So just to set ourselves up, we got Fred here, well into the United States. We got Grace still in water, just exiting off the coast of Haiti, and then of course we have strengthening tropical storm Henry out by Bermuda. So as we all know, the original forecast for Grace had Grace coming up the east coast of the United States, but now we've had a pressure change, and you're going to see that in the Bermuda Atlantic bubble, this big giant bubble in the Atlantic Ocean where most of our weather clockwise spins around it. And you're going to see that as I move this chart here. We see almost a spin here of this high pressure. And what this does is it keeps storms on the outside edge of it, more times than none at least, and that's why we have a constant flow, at least from the west coast, with storms that come off Africa through the Cape Verde Islands, and then we have a flow down the warm water belt, and this constant clockwise motion of high pressure, which is why we call it the Bermuda Atlantic bubble. So if I back up here, you can see how everything kind of moves around that circle. We have our hurricane spinning counterclockwise and all the time moving around this Bermuda Atlantic bubble. So different pressures, different situations going on that steer these storms. And that's exactly what happened here. The original forecast had Grace coming up this way, but now we've had an extension of this high pressure. And you're going to see that stick out just as we get underneath Cuba. See this line that pops out right here? This is going to keep Grace moving west into the Gulf, more than likely clipping Cancun now, all while Henry is stuck inside this high pressure, not being able to move in any direction. And you're going to see that right here as we click. See how the pressure wraps around Henry here? And then 2 clicks later, that pressure starts to pull backwards towards this H. That's why we're going to start seeing the hook, and that's going to allow Henry to start moving north like these storms naturally do when there is no force holding them down. So we'll go ahead and keep clicking here, and you can see that Henry's going to ride the outside of this line, this high pressure bubble, and sort sort of gets pinned into the United States, possibly making a landfall by Long Island, Rhode Island, Connecticut, this gap of the Long Island Sound, and then more than likely rolling up towards Maine, St. Thomas, and then out into the Atlantic Ocean once again. And I know that's a lot to visualize. We're going to back it up and do it all again because that's what's important here. We got to understand how these storms are moving and why they're going in certain directions. So Fred is going to be moving north up to the northeast. We'll move into current time, the 18th here. And once again, Grace is being pinned south by this long high pressure that's sticking out all the way into the United States. And that's also what's keeping Henry stationary right here, or what seems like stationary. Very small movements. And then as you see each click, Grace continues to get pinned down towards Cancun, Mexico. And then we move forward. The high pressure pulls off, allowing Henry to then begin its swing up towards the north. And just like the ingredients to a meal, we're watching this all come together right in front of our eyes. It really can be amazing watching these storms come together just as much as it is scary when they are approaching where we live. But as I always say here, it's much better to be prepared than to not be prepared. Now we're going to look at some of the charts showing the strength over the next few days before I let you guys go. And now we have just a much better idea of not only the potential of Henry, but why Henry could be such a significant storm. And that's what I'm going to leave you with here. As you notice on the model intensity guidance chart, we're kind of plateauing from now until about 48 hours from now. I know we have one model that kind of sticks out here, and then a second one that kind of shoots right up to a category 4. But for the most part, we have these models that go between 0 and 48 hours, just bordering that Cat 1 tropical storm level. But then we see at the 45-hour mark, this thing get very strong. And we talked about this briefly, and I just want to show you with a visual. And this is going to match exactly that 48-hour mark. So you can see between now and the next 48 hours, all we do is move south and a little bit to the west. But once we hit August 20th, take a look at what happens. 48 hours, just like the chart says. We'll go ahead and hit play, and we see the rapid intensification of Henry right after that. And as of now, my friends, that's where we got to keep this information. It's the data we have available. We know this stuff changes, but we also need to realize we're only 4 days away from this mark, not 10 days, not an extended forecast. We're right there. So we're dealing with a trifecta of storms all playing off each other, all playing off the Bermuda Atlantic bubble, and a lot of different stuff going on. I hope this video was at least able to break down some of this information and make it a little more understandable for the average person. I know this stuff can get very, very overwhelming and a lot at once, so we just try to break it down here and keep everything as simple as possible. I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. Please stay safe. It's going to be a pretty crazy next couple days with a hurricane or a high-grade tropical storm coming towards the northeast of the United States. All right, my friends, shout out to Canada. I will be back later on, and we'll continue from there with any other big updates. Thank you all so much. Small message at the end. Have a good day. Stop right there, my friends. If you have not already, click that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Click all, and you will get all notifications from this channel. And trust me, you won't be disappointed.